Chapter 14 of The Plum and the Golden Ping. Chongzhen version of the embroidered portrait. Hua Zixu died due to anger, and Li Pinger went to the meeting to welcome her. The poem says, "These, mind and heart are not ready for rest, and I can't bear to pick up the jade and scratch my head. When spring returns, the smiling faces and flowers are charming, and the frowning eyebrows and willows are filled with sorrow. The pink halo peach cheeks miss the couple, and the cold orchid room looks forward to taking care of things." He Rude was so happy that he didn't want Wenjun to grow old. It is said that one day Wu Yunyang was unhappy. Wu Dejinzi came to see her, and Yunyang stayed with him for 2 days. I was sitting with him in the room when I suddenly saw the little boy Dian, carrying him into a felt bag and saying, "Dad is home." Wu Dejinzi went to Li Zhao's room. Simon King came in, took off his clothes and sat down. "Xiao Yu didn't even eat the tea." Seeing that his expression changed, Yunyang asked, "You are having tea today? Why are you coming home so early?" Simon King said, "Today is the time to have a meeting with my second brother Chang. He has no place at home, so we can go play at Yangfu Temple outside the city." The second brother Yu Hua invited the second brother Ying, and 4 or 5 of us went to Zhang Xiang'er's house in the courtyard to have wine. While we were eating, we suddenly saw some businessmen coming in. Without any explanation, we took the second brother who was away. Everyone was shocked. I went to Sister Li Gui and hid for a long time. I was worried and asked people to inquire. It turned out that the second brother Hua, the minister in charge of the family, filed a complaint in Kaifeng Mansion, Tokyo, and settled in this county. "Take someone, then we can rest assured and let everyone go home." Yunyang heard this and said, "This is just what you should do. You have been following this group of people all day long, not staying at home, just messing around outside. Today you just want to be throwing the trouble will be the end. You are still unwilling to give up now. If you don't eat people and fight with each other tomorrow, you will be a rotten sheephead by that day. You are willing to cut off this path." The words of a serious wife at home say, "Are you willing to listen?" It's just that the whore in the courtyard says something to you, and you listen to her with a donkey's air. It's exactly the same. Family members are talking to you, and outsiders are talking to the golden scripture. Simon King said with a smile, "Who dares to say 7 things? You guys dare to hit me." Yunyang said, "You are a traitor. You are just the loudspeaker in the family." Just as he was talking, Diane came up and said, "Hua Erniang next door sent Tianfuer to ask Dad to come over and talk." After Simon King heard this, he staggered out. Yunyang said, "If you don't know tomorrow, I'll teach you what to do." Simon King said, "Don't worry about neighbors. I'll go there and see what he has to say." At that moment, when he walked past Huizixu's house, Li Pinger the young man asked the young man to go to the back to talk. He saw the woman in disheveled clothes and slovenly makeup coming out of the room. Her face was so frightened that the wax residue looked yellow. She knelt down to Simon King and begged again and again. "There is nothing you can do. As a high official, don't look at the monk's face and look at the Buddha's face. As the saying goes, when a family is in trouble, neighbors help each other, because he doesn't listen to others, ignores serious family affairs, and just goes round outside. Today, he cannibalized people and plot, and he has done this kind of thing." At this time, Fang told the boy that in the future, he would teach me how to find favors to save him. "I am a helpless woman, so where can I find favors?" I became violent, thinking that if he refused to obey, I would take him to Tokyo and beat him to pieces. Yes, it's not a loss to him. It's just that I'm having trouble with the last name of my deceased husband. I have no choice but to ask the senior official to come over and talk to the senior official. Don't mention him. You must look at your humble face and look for someone who is humane. Just don't teach him to eat chicken. Simon King saw the woman bowing and said quickly, "Sister-in-law, please get up. It's okay. I don't know what the purpose is." The woman said, "It's hard to explain in words. My husband, who passed away, had 2 nephews. The eldest nephew is called Hanakoyu. The third is called Hanako Guang. And the fourth is called Hanakoa. My name is Hanako, and I am my direct relative. Although my husband earns this penny, he will never see my son." After returning from Guang'an, he handed the thing to me and kept them in my hands. He continued to beat me with sticks. and the three of them became more and more afraid to come forward. My husband died last year, and these Hua Da, Hua San, and Hua Fourth. I also shared some bed tents with the guys, but I found that I didn't get a cent of money. I often say that it's okay to give him a little more, but he doesn't pay attention to it. Today, my hands are dark, and there is no ventilation, but I teach him the man has been taken down. After saying that, he burst into tears. Simon King said, "Sister-in-law, don't worry, I just wanted to know what happened." It turned out to be a complaint about the family's financial affairs in the housing division. It doesn't matter, since it's my sister-in-law's order. My brother's business is my business. Feel free to ask me, take it, the woman said. If the official is willing, it will be better. I would like to ask how many gifts are needed, please prepare. Simon King said, "It doesn't take much. I heard that young mansion in Kaifeng Prefecture, Tokyo Yin is a disciple of Taishi Kai. Taishi Kai and my four relatives, Admiral Yang, are all people who can speak in front of the emperor. Take 2 points and say to Yang Fuan, there is a disobedient, no matter how big the matter is. That's it. Now Taishi Kai wants to use some gifts. Admiral Yang is related to me. Will he accept the gift?" The woman then opened the box in the room, took out 60 large ingots, a total of 3,000 taels, and taught Simon King collected to find favors and use it up and down. Simon King said, "Only half is enough. Why use a lot?" The woman said, "There are many high-ranking officials who have taken it away." Behind the slave bed there are 4 boxes of python clothes, jade belts, and hats and satrings, all of which are valuable. I also asked the high officials to collect the treasures for me, and leave them with the high officials. I will pick them up when I need them. At this time, if I don't think of a way to defend myself, if I believe him, I won't be able to live a good life in the future. Seeing that 3 punches are no match for 4 hands, tomorrow, I will kill these things and plot against them. And they will not return. Simon King said, "I'm afraid that Brother Hua will come home and ask what's wrong." The woman said, "These are all the things that I handed over to the slaves when my husband was here. He didn't know a word about them. The high officials just took them away." Simon King said, "Since my sister-in-law said it, I will teach people at home, take it." So he kept coming home to discuss with Yunyang. Yunyang said, Yinzi used a food box and asked the boy to bring it up. If the box and cage things come through the gate, will the neighbors on both sides not see it? It must be broken into the wall at night to make it more hidden. Simon King was overjoyed when he heard this. He ordered for young men, Dian, Lai Wang, Lake Xing and Ping En, to carry 3,000 taels of silver home first, along with 2 food boxes. Then when the moon came up in the evening, Li Ping'er put tables and stools with Yingshan and Shu Chun, and put the boxes and cabinets against the wall. On Simon King's side, there are only Yunyang, Jinlian and Chan Mai, connected by ladders. The walls were lined with felt strips, and they were sent one by one to Yunyang's room. Exactly, wealth and honor are naturally a blessing, but fame and fortune also bring worries. Something will occur if it belongs to your life. If not, do not push it. Shi King accepted many fine gold and silver treasures from him, but none of his neighbors knew about it. He prepared his luggage overnight and asked for a letter from his in-laws, Chen Zai, to send his family members to escort him to Tokyo. I sent a letter to Admiral Yang and entrusted it to Kai Taishi of the cabinet, and Yang Fuan of Kaifeng Prefecture. The governor's name is Yang Shi, also known as Gishan. He is from Hongnong County, Shaanxi Province. He was promoted from a Jinshi in Guiwei to the minister of Dali Temple. Now he is promoted to be the governor of Kaifeng. He is extremely honest. Grand Master Kuang Kai was his old leader, and Yang Jian was the current minister. How could he not do his part? On that day, when Yang Fuan was promoted to the hall, the prisoner asked Hua Zixu to come. A group of people went to the hall and knelt down to interrogate him about the whereabouts of his family wealth. At this time, Hua Zixu had already received a letter from Simon King to inform him. He only said, "Since my husband died, it has been spent on sending and chanting sutras. There are only 2 houses and 1 farmland, and the rest of the bed tents are in flames. All the belongings have been scattered by the clan members." Yang Fuan said, The wealth of your internal officials is beyond inspection. It is easy to gain and easy to lose, since there is nothing left to spend. I commend the officials of King County for spending the eunuch's residence on the second residence and Zhuangshan. One place, appraise the price, sell it, and give it to Hanako, you and the other three to return. Hanako, you and the others knelt down again and wanted to chase Sixu, asking for other items of silver. Yang Fuan was so angry that he drank it all and said, "You're too young to beat me. When your inner minister died, what did you do without complaining? Now that the incident is over, you're here to harass me again." So he pretended to be a fool. There was no beating at all. An official document was approved, and King County was escorted to estimate the village's residents. It was no big deal. I came to Bao to inquire about the news. Xingyi came back and reported to Simon King. When Simon King heard that the score was right, he sent Hua Zixu to come home, full of joy. Here Li Pinger asked Simon King to discuss the matter and asked Simon King to buy this house. With a few taels of silver, tomorrow, I will soon be yours too. Simon King returned home to discuss with Wu Yunyang. Yunyang said, "If you want his house, I'm afraid the man will become suspicious for a while." "What's the matter?" Simon King took it to heart. A few days later, Hua Zixu came home. The magistrate of Jiala County of King County Committee estimated that the eunuch's mansion was located in Anxingfang, Main Street, and was worth 700 taels of silver. It was sold to Wang Huang's wife as a business. And the farmland outside the south gate was worth silver, 650 taels. Selling and guarding Zhou as a career. There is only a small house worth 540 taels of silver, but because it is next door to Simon King, no one dares to buy it. Hua Zixu repeatedly asked people to tell him that Simon King only refused to pay because he had no money. The county official was waiting for the documents to be returned. Li Pinger was anxious and secretly asked Feng's mother to come and tell Simon King that she could exchange the money he had deposited for 540 taels and buy it. Simon King just agreed. When the official handed over the silver, "Hanako, you drew the calligraphy. I wrote the paperwork overnight and returned it to my boss. I received a total of 1,895 taels of silver, which was divided among the three of us." Hua Zixu came out of a lawsuit and got no cents. He lost his silver, his house, and his farmland, and the 3,000 taels of gold ingots in the 2 boxes were missing. He was very anxious. He asked Li Pinger to find out the whereabouts of Simon King's silver and how much money was left, so that he could buy a house together. The woman who was against eating the woman scolded her for 4 or 5 days, saying, "Bah, damn chaos. You ignore business all day long, sleeping in flowers and willows outside, just to be used as a trap and taken to jail. Send the general to teach me how to look for favors. The slave is a woman, and she has not left the gate. What do you know? Who do you know? Where are you looking for favors? How many nails are there when you are covered with iron? I will embarrass you and beg your father everywhere. Report to Grandma." Thanks to the high-ranking official from Simon next door. Seeing how we got along a few days ago, the cold weather and the yellow and black wind caused the servants to go to Tokyo to help you get things done smoothly. You finished the lawsuit today and stood with your feet on the ground. You miss your life and money, and you forget the pain. You came home and asked your wife if she had found the back tent, and she said she didn't have any. The post you wrote is not available now. Your handwriting. I took out your money without permission to look for favors. It will be difficult to offset the thief, Hua Zixu said. You know it is my post. I really hope there is some left. Let's buy a house together. Live your life, the woman said. Bah, you idiot. I can't scold you. You should have been more careful. You don't plan on the top, but you plan on the bottom. Jin Yi said it was too much, but Wan Yi said if you use too much, where can your 3,000 taels of silver go? Grandmaster Kai and Admiral Yang are so good at eating small intestines. It's not a big favor, but they took you for nothing. When I was an official, Hao Tower didn't even beat you on your body. Please let it go and teach you how to talk at home. If someone is not under your control, why are you his beloved relative? How can I travel all over the country for you and make money to teach you? You come home to when it's time to prepare a banquet and have a drink. I invite someone to come, and when I thank you, I sweep all the people away with a broom. When the time comes to ask someone to find the back tent, they come." He said several words in succession, scolding him. Zixu remained silent. The next day, Simon King sent Diane a gift to calm Zixu's shock. Zixu arranged a table here and invited Simon King to thank him. He also wanted to ask him about the whereabouts of the silver. According to Simon King, she even found hundreds of taels of silver to buy a house with him. When Li Ping'er refused, he secretly sent Feng's mother to come over and said to Simon King, "Don't come to have a drink. I just sent him a flower account, saying that all the money I spent was gone." Hua Zixu didn't know. At that time, the servant invited him again and again. Simon King hid all the way into the courtyard, but never returned home. Hanako was so weak that she just stumbled. Watch and hear. Generally speaking, if a woman changes her mind and is not of the same mind as a man, and her husband is as resolute as breaking an iron nail, it is difficult to predict what is going on behind the scenes. Since ancient times, men have ruled outside and women have ruled inside. Why is it that men's reputations are often ruined by women? They are all unable to achieve their goals due to their control. The important thing is to be kind and virtuous. Have the same fate. The husband sings, and the wife follows, and the common man can be sure that he will not be blamed. If you are like a beautiful flower who is desolate and undisciplined, and you want the people within you not to have any objections to him, how can you achieve this? Exactly. Self-consciousness is its own cushion, and no wind can shake it. Stop talking nonsense. Later, Zixu only scraped together 250 taels of silver and bought a house on Lion Street to live in. After getting this heavy breath, I just moved there and unfortunately contracted typhoid fever. I fell into bed and never got up from early November. At first, he invited the imperial doctor to see him, but later he was afraid of spending money, so he just stayed by his side. 2 in 1 day, 3 in 2 days, till 20 of them were killed. Sadly, they died at the age of 24. Tianshire, the young and old servant under his command, took away 5 taels of silver from Zixu when he fell ill. As soon as Zixu fell down, Li Ping'er asked Feng's mother to invite Simon King to come over and discuss with him how to buy a coffin and bury him, chant sutras and send it to the tomb for burial. Men and women like Hua Die, Hua Sen and Hua Si also came to pay their respects to the funeral. On that day, Simon King also taught Wu Yunyang to prepare a banquet to commemorate him on the mountaintop. On that day, when the woman returned home in a sedan chair, she also set up a spiritual tablet and offered it in the room. Although he was keeping vigil, he only thought about Simon King. From the time Zixu was alive, he taught Simon King how to play tricks with 2 girls. After Zixu's death, they became more and more involved in the family. One day, on the 9th day of the first lunar month, Li Ping'er inquired that it was Pan Jinlian's birthday. Before the 5th day of Zixu, Li Ping'er bought a gift and sat in a sedan, wearing a white silk jacket, a blue woven gold skirt, and a white silk bun, bead hoop. Come and celebrate Golden Lotus's birthday. Feng's mother held a felt bag, and Tianfu'er followed the sedan chair. After entering the house, he kowtowed 4 times to Yunyang and said, "Many working ladies on the mountain were hungry the day before yesterday. Thank you very much for the gift." After paying homage to Yunyang, he also invited Li Jiar and Meng Yulu to meet him. Then Pan Jinlian came and said, "Is this Wu Niang?" She kowtowed her head again and addressed her repeatedly, "Sister, please accept my courtesy." Jinlian was willing to accept it and gave in for half a day, but the 2 still kowtowed. Headed, Jinlian thanked him for the birthday gift again. Wu Dejinzi and Grandma Pan also met together. Li Ping'er invited Simon King to see him. Yunyang said, he went to the Jade Emperor temple outside the door today to make a pilgrimage. She gave up her seat and called for tea. After a long time, I saw Sun Zui walking over. Li Ping'er saw that he was less well-dressed than the others, so he stood up and asked, "Who is this?" "I don't know, and I have never asked to see you." Yunyang said, "This is his girl." Li Ping'er was about to salute. Yunyang said, "I don't need to bother you too. I just want to pay my respects." After bowing to each other, Yunyang went to the room, changed her clothes, and told the maid to put a table in the open room and serve tea. After a while, charcoal was added round the stove, wine poured over the lamb, and wine was served. Let Wu Dejinzi, Pan Lao Lao, and Li Pinger take the seats, while Yunyang and Chairman Li Jiar, and Meng Yulu and Pan Jinli invite. Sun Zui returned to the kitchen to take care of her, not daring to sit for a long time. Yunyang saw that Li Pinger refused the wine, so she handed the wine to her personally, and asked Li Jiar and others to pass the wine again. She mocked him and said, Hua Erniang has moved far away, my sisters. The more we are apart, the less we will be together. I'm so sorry. Erniang is so cruel. Why don't you come and see us? Meng Yu said, Isn't it because Erniang didn't come today because she was celebrating her birthday with 6th sister? Li Pinger said, Okay, Auntie, Sanyang are praised by all the other ladies, so slaves also want to come. One is full of filial piety, and the other is that there is no one in the family. I only passed him on May 7th yesterday, but I didn't dare to come because I was afraid of Wanyang's weirdness. Because he asked, When will the aunt be born? Yunyang said, The day is early. Pan Jinlian took it and said, The aunt's birthday is August 15th. The second mother is here to go. Li Pinger said, Needless to say, they will all come. Meng Yulu said, Second ladies will stay with my sisters all night today, and we won't go home. Li Pinger said, I know that I have to talk to all the ladies. To tell you the truth, the little family moved there for the first time since he passed away. There is no one left at home. The back wall of the house is close to Kiao Kiao's garden. It's so empty. There are often foxes throwing bricks at night. The slave was afraid of the tiles. It turned out to be 2 young boys, but the older boy left again. Only the young boy Tian Fuer was guarding the front door, and the back half was empty. Fortunately, this old Feng was from the old days of the slave, and he often come and wash some clothes with me. Yunyang asked, How old is Lao Feng? He is a kind and honest mother, and he is very talkative. Li Pinger said, He is 56 years old this year. Male, the flower girl has no flowers, so she only makes a living by talking to matchmakers. I always take care of his clothes here. Yesterday, my humble husband died, and I asked him to come and be a companion of the slave, and sleep on the same bed with the girl every night. Pan Jinlian spoke quickly and said, Since Lao Feng is at home to look after the house, it's okay for Erniang to spend the night here. If your father is gone, who will take care of you? Yulu said, Second Niang only followed me and asked Lao Feng to return to the sedan chair. Just don't go. Li Pinger just laughed and said nothing. While talking, we drank for a few rounds. Grandma Pan got up first and went forward. Pan Jinlian followed his mother to the room. Li Pinger said repeatedly, The slave's wine is enough. Li Jiao said, Why is Hua Erniang willing to drink wine in the hands of his aunt and third mother? But when I hand over the wine, the second mother refuses to eat. It seems thick and thin. Then he took a big cup and poured it into the cup. Li Pinger said, Good Erniang, I can't eat the slave's food. How dare you lie? Yunyang said, Erniang, after you have eaten this cup, you should rest for a while. Li Pinger just took it. I put it in front of me and just talked to everyone. When Meng Yulu saw Chun Mai standing next to him, he asked Chun Mai, What is your mother doing in front? Go and invite your mother and Grandma Pan, and say that Auntie is here to have wine with you. Erniang Hua. Not long after Chun Mai left, she came back and said, Grandma, your body hurts. Go to sleep. My mother is pacifying her face in the room, so I'll come. Yunyang said, I haven't seen him either. He is just a host. He is throwing guests away. Well, Sanzi went to the room. Everything was fine, but he had these childish qualities. There is a poem to Pravit. When he was tired and sweaty, my clothes were soaked, and the people upstairs helped me up the jade ladder. I returned to the courtyard and washed my face again. The water in the golden basin turned red and muddy. Just as he was talking, he saw Pan Jinlian coming. Yulu saw him at the banquet wearing heavy makeup and swaying from the outside. He jokingly said, Fifth girl, you are such a good man. Today you are a donkey and horse, leaving the guests here. You hid in the room. But he was raised by adults. The Golden Lotus smiled and hit him. Yulu said, "You are so bold. Fifth girl. You still came to hand it over for an hour." Li Ping'er said, "I drank a lot of wine in Sanyang's hand, and it was enough." Jinlian said, "His hand, this is the account in his hand. And I dared to offer Nying a bell." So he poured a full bell and handed it to Li Ping'er. Li Ping'er just put it aside and refused to eat it. When Yunyang saw a golden hairpin with the character longevity hanging on her temples, she asked, "Second mother, where did you and the sixth sister make this pair of hairpins with the character longevity?" "That's great. I'll do the same thing tomorrow. It's also worthy of a pair," Li Ping'er said. "Since the aunt wants it, the slaves still have a few pairs. Tomorrow, each lady will give a replacement pair." This was brought out by the deceased husband. "There are some outside. This is so cool," Yunyang said. "I am making fun of Du Erniang for playing tricks. There are many of my sisters. Where are these gifts for each other?" All the female relatives drank and laughed. Look at the day and night. Feng's mother was in Zui's room at the back, taking care of the wine. She came out with a red face after eating, and urged Li Ping'er, "Don't get up, so we can send the sedan back." Yunyang said, "Second mother, don't you? Let's go and ask Lao Feng to go back to his home in the sedan chair," Li Ping'er said. "There's no one at home. I'll see you ladies some other time and live there someday," Meng Yulu said. "My second mother loves to hold on to the past. Don't we all have a share? If we don't send the sedan now, we'll have to keep Erniang when his father comes back to live with him." After speaking, Li Ping'er was forced to hand the door key to Feng's mother. Said, "Since his mothers have kept me here again and again, it shows that I am a slave without respect. Tell the sedan chair to go back and teach him to pick it up tomorrow. You and the young man go to the house and pay attention to the door." He also taught Feng's mother to whisper, to teach the eldest girl to welcome the spring. "Take the key to open a box in my bedroom. In the small box with a gold head, there are 4 pairs of gold hairpins with the word longevity. You can send them to me tomorrow morning. I want to give them to the 4 mothers." Then Mother Feng got it, bid farewell to Yunyang, and went out without saying a word. After a while, Li Ping'er refused to drink, so Yunyang invited her to the upper room to have tea with Da Guzi. Suddenly I saw Diane carrying a felt bag, and Simon King came to the house, opened the curtain and came in, saying, "Hua Erniang is here." Li Ping'er jumped up in panic, and the two of them saw the gift and sat down. Yunyang asked Yu Xiao and Simon Singh to take over the clothes. Simon King then said to Wu Dejinzi and Li Ping'er, "Today is the Christmas ceremony at the Jade Emperor Temple outside the gate. It's my turn to be the leader of the ceremony and settle the accounts with everyone." In the Wu Dao official room, 7 loads and 8 willows have entangled us so late, because he asked, "Is Erniang not going home today?" Yulu said, "Erniang repeatedly refused to go, but we sisters forced her to stay." Li Ping'er said, "There is no one at home, Nubu, don't worry." Simon King said, "It's not nonsense. I've been doing very tight night patrols these past 2 days. I'm afraid something might happen, but there's something going on. Send a note from me to Mr. Zhou and ask for it." Then he said, "Erniang, why are you sitting there in such a deserted state? Have you drank some wine?" Meng Yulu said, "We tried to persuade Erniang again and again, but Erniang just refused to eat." Simon King said, "If you can't help, wait until I persuade Erniang." "Erniang, Mom, you have such a small amount." Li Ping'er said, "I can't eat anymore," but she didn't move. At the same time, he ordered the maid to put down a table from the new house and set up a table with the rice, vegetables, and fine nuts that had been left to serve Simon King. Wu Dejinzi knew the situation and refused to drink because he went to Li Zhao's room. At that moment, Li Ping'er sat down at Simon's Qingguan banquet, and Wu Yunyang was holding the kettle on the kang. Meng Yulu and Pan Jinlian fought on both sides. The 5 of them sat down and poured the wine. They didn't use small bells. They were all big silver bells, 1 cup for you and 1 for me. As the saying goes, tea is the matchmaker for romance, and wine is the matchmaker for sex. Eating back and forth, the woman eating had her eyebrows lowered and her eyes squinting. Exactly, 2 peach blossoms appear on the face. and the eyebrows and eyes reveal their true colors. Yunyang saw that the two of them were eating together and talking about evil things, so she looked down on them. So she went to sit with Wu Daguzi in the room over there, and let the four of them eat until the third watch. Li Ping'er's starry eyes were slanted and she couldn't stand upright. She pulled Jin Lian back to clean her hands. Simon King walked to Yunyang's room and staggered around, asking where Yunyang sent him to rest. Yunyang said, he came to celebrate his birthday with that one, so he rested in that room. Simon King said, where should I rest? Yunyang said, rest wherever you want, or else you can stay with him. Go and have a rest. Simon King couldn't help laughing and said, that's unreasonable. He asked Xiao Yu to take off her clothes. I slept in this room. Yunyang said, just don't sweat evil. Don't mess with me. Swear well. Are you here? Where can his eldest sister rest? Simon King said, come on, come on. I'm going to rest in Ming Sanara's room. So I went to rest in the Jade Building. Pan Jinlian led Li Ping'er to clean her hands, then came to him and rested together with her grandma. When I get up the next day, I dress up in front of the mirror, surrounded by plum blossoms. Seeing Chunmei's clever change, he knew that she was the girl Simon King had used, and she had a golden affair with him. Not Chunmei quickly said to Jin Lian. Jin Lian thanked him again and said, thank you again for giving me a reward for my second mother. Li Ping'er said, it's not in vain that my fifth mother is blessed. She is such a sister. After dressing up, Jin Lian led him and Grandma Pan to tell the spring plum blossoms to bloom, garden gate, visit everywhere. Li Ping'er saw a private door open on his side of the wall, leading to his side, and asked, when will Father Simon start building this house? Jin Lian said, looking at the yin and yang of the former, when it comes to starting construction in February, we need to open up Niyang's house and make it into one, build a rolling shed in the front, and display a large garden. We also need to build 3 flower-playing buildings in the back, which will be adjacent to the 3 buildings of new. Li Ping'er heard this. Mind, I saw Yunyang send Xiao Yu to come and invite her to tea. The 3 of them came to the upper room together. Wu Yunyang, Li Jiar, and Meng Yulu accompanied Wu to Jinzi, setting down tea and waiting. Everyone was eating snacks when Mother Fang came in, took out an old sweat towel from her sleeve, wrapped it with 4 pairs of golden longevity hairpins, and handed it to Li Ping'er. Li Ping'er first presented a pair to Yunyang, and then Li Jiar, Meng Yulu, and Sun Zui each received a pair. Yunyang said, there are many wasteful ladies, but I can't do this. Li Ping'er smiled and said, good aunt, what a rare thing. Just reward it with the ladies. Everyone in Yunyang thanked them, and then everyone went to their own places. People stick it in their heads. Yunyang said, I heard that there is a lantern market in front of Niang's house. It's very lively. When we look at the lanterns tomorrow, we will go to Niang's house and look at it. Don't tell me not to be home. Li Ping'er said, that day when I arrive, I would like to invite all the mothers. Jin Lian said, sister, I don't know yet, but I have heard that this 15th day is Niang's birthday. Yu Niang said, I said today that if it is the day when Niang surrenders, I will be one of my sisters. Quite a few come and celebrate my second mother's birthday. Li Ping'er smiled and said, I live in a small room. If my mother is willing to come down, I will definitely invite you. After a while, breakfast was finished and wine was put on the table for drinking. When he stayed in Rixi, the sedan came to pick him up, and Li Ping'er said goodbye and went home. The sisters cannot keep their money. Before going out, please see Simon King. Yunyang said. He got up early today and went out to see people off. The woman thanked her so much that she got into the sedan and came home. Exactly, Albazia walnuts are so cute. They actually have a special kind of kernel inside.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.